Shattered Heaven. Is it going to be a win or a bin? Let's have a quick read through of the description on Steam. Shattered Heaven is a single player deck builder card game with RPG elements and an ambitious branching narrative set in a dark fantasy world. The game focuses on a card game and roguelike gameplay fueled by a great replay value thanks to procedural dungeons and deep crafting system. Now, as you can probably tell, I have a bit of a cold. This is thankfully just a demo, so hopefully a nice quick review. I was given the key to the demo before it got released, but the demo is now available for free for everybody. The full game comes out on the 31st of May 2023, so very, very soon. This is not my type of game at all. I know very little about deck building games. I know very little about fantasy games, not really my thing overall, and this sort of thing probably wouldn't normally be my kind of game whatsoever. I probably wouldn't pay for it. However, I'll try and look at this from a neutral standpoint and run through all the things that I thought were good and all the things I thought were bad. So the good things. It looks quite nice. I like the artistic styling. I think a lot of games like this do look like this, just from what I've seen on Steam, so I think it does hold very well on there. The animations in the game when you play a card, which ultimately is a weapon or a defensive move, the animations are quite good. They do vary, they do different things on screen, and the characters themselves are quite nice looking, and the scenery itself is also kind of good and sets you in this whole fantasy world, which it just seems to remind me of, like, I don't know why, but Lord of the Rings. I'm probably completely wrong, but it just reminds me of that, probably because I'm just a complete fantasy card player newbie, really. There's other things in this, though. It's not just deck building and battling. There are things within your base, so to speak. There's potions you can create. There's a shop for buying certain items which allow you to buff your character's ability, or you end up with debuffs as well. There's some general crafting that you can do. There's different routes of story as well, so you can choose sometimes which direction you would like to go in. I mean, it seems to be that you battle through these various dungeons on different levels, and part of it is just clicking on different rooms, which maybe was a little bit boring after a while, but that might be me just not really getting the idea of it. But you click on a different room, an event happens, oh, X, Y, and Z might happen. Which one do you want to pick? There's 80% chance of this happening, 70% chance of this happening, 50% chance of this happening. Some good things, some bad things. Collect items, battle monsters. Sometimes you'll stumble across a room you have to battle 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes, yeah, I think up to 4 monsters. And you've got your main characters in the game as well, and they've got their own abilities and skills and whatnot. But yeah, there's all sorts of different things in here apart from that, which is what I quite like. It is only the demo, so I'm sure that will all open up a bit more, but there does seem to be quite a few different features in the game. As I briefly alluded to a moment ago, I really like the card abilities. The drawings on the cards are really cool as well. The powers themselves, they all seem to be really, really good fun, and they do seem to draw me in. And again, as someone who doesn't really play this sort of games, it did interest me. Overall, in terms of the good things, if I look at this from a point of view of somebody who might be a fan of deck building fantasy realm games, I think you might like this. There is a free demo available right now, so why not have a little go? I might be completely wrong and I might be misjudging everybody who likes these sort of games, but if I was to hazard a guess, I think you might enjoy this. Maybe you get more out of it than me, because I'm just a complete novice and I don't really have a clue what I'm doing. So if you're watching this and you're seeing me do some really weird things, then forgive me on that one. Now some negatives. There's some music, background music and stuff going on, and there just seems to be one track for all of the battle scenes, and it's just really monotonous and boring. So perhaps the developers could expand on the soundtrack during battles. Different scenes could be different music, that sort of thing, but it could be improved upon or varied more to the point. Too many dialogue scenes is another bad point. In between things, there's just random characters that just pop up and say things, and you just have to read the text. Occasionally, you'll hear them go, right, and okay, and howdy, and yeehaw. No, they don't say those. They're not cowboys. But there's too many things that seem to just happen dialogue-wise, and they're not saying all the words. They're just randomly muttering noises and random words. There's a lot of characters who just appear out of nowhere as well. It's like, well, who the fuck are you? I haven't had anything to do with you. Where have you suddenly appeared from? Around some sort of corner? It's just... sometimes it doesn't make any sense. These characters appear and I'm like, what were you doing here? And then you never see them again. It's like, well, I've just met you. Are you going to come back and do something? Or are you just going to piss off again? Who knows? Again, might just be me. But yeah, too many dialogue scenes, too many random characters. Now, there is a tutorial. It does teach you how to play, and it actually was okay in getting me into it, but it didn't go into enough depth for me as somebody who's a complete newbie to this sort of thing. I think if you know what you're doing as a general genre for this sort of thing, you'd be okay. Because I'm a bit of a div, I could have done with a bit more of a hand. But I will caveat that negative with the fact they have a really good wiki. And because some of your characters have different abilities and there's quite a lot of words I don't actually understand in this game, the wiki explains quite a lot. And it's on a character by character basis and a section by section and sort of scenario by scenario basis. So if a character has a certain ability or trait, I don't know what that word means. Oh, I'll have a look at the wiki. It explains it quite nicely. Not perfectly, but reasonably good enough for me to understand something if I'm that keen to know. That wiki, though, is not accessible, as far as I can see, during combat. You have to be out of combat and in a different screen entirely, unless I'm missing something. But the fact you can't access the wiki during combat when a lot of these things that you don't understand you might need is a bit weird. But do correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, so I'm not going to say one way or another on this. It's a free demo. I kind of liked it, and I don't know anything about this game. I'm not going to play it for much longer. Probably not going to buy it, but that's just my personal preference. But just have a go. I'm going to go now, because my voice is screwed. So, yeah. Hopefully I'll be much better in the next one, but see you later.